Hi everyone, this is Jonathan, and today we're going to see a topic that is going to be very delicious because you can see we're going to see lots of vocabulary about food, you know? So, over here let's start by having just a little exercise. Let's have a look at this image, at this picture. And what do you think this picture is from? Is it from a school? Is it from a library? Is it from a party? Or is it from a swimming pool? Okay. So in this case, if you selected party, let me tell you that this is a correct answer. You're right. You know, so over here, what we're just going to do is a vocabulary exercise in which we're going to put all this vocabulary in the correct boxes depending on the numbers. You remember the numbers that we saw in the previous picture? But don't worry, I'm gonna show it again now in this part, and let's check. So all you need to do is to have a look again at this picture and just put in the correct numbers these two groups of vocabulary, which is all about food. Okay, so over here we've got the 12 boxes. Of course, oranges is already number one. That is why in here is eliminated. And at this point, if you need to pause the video in order to do the exercise, well, that would be okay. That's a good thing. Because I'm going to show the answers in a few moments, okay? So go ahead and make sure you check all that vocabulary about food. Okay, so now I'm going to show the answers. So spoiler alert, the answers are incoming. Okay, so for the first one, for number one, we already saw that it's oranges. And number two, we've got pineapples. Number three, we've got burgers or hamburgers. Well, you know that is like the short form. And number four, we've got hot dogs. Five is potato chips. And number six is strawberries. Number seven, mangoes. Number eight is gonna be tomatoes. Number nine is eggs. Number 10, nuts. Number 11, cupcakes. This is getting really tasty. And number 12 is cookies. Okay, so how many did you guys get right? Huh? Okay, so let's continue to the next one. Okay, so now let's see some plural formation. It turns out that, as you saw in the previous picture, we had all the food. It was represented in plural forms. And in this case, what we need to study is just we need to know that according to the final letter or letters of a word, this is going to be important or crucial for the plural formation. For example, we go from one tomato to two, three, or more tomatoes. In this case, we can see that the words finishing in OS, these two letters, this combination CH or SH, we need to put an ES at the final part. Okay, so here we've got the example. Now, those words that are ending in a consonant plus a Y, okay? So this is now a combination, a consonant and a Y. We need to eliminate that Y and we put IES. For example, strawberry, as we know, as we can see, there is an R, a consonant, and then followed by a Y. That is why we eliminate that Y and we put IES. So strawberry to strawberries. And for the rest of the cases that are not in case number one or case number two, we just put an S, like oranges and burgers. Okay, let's go with two more. For example, we've got kiss. The final letter is an S. And party, the final two letters actually are a consonant and a Y. So if you are thinking right now that the plurals are kisses and parties, let me tell you that this is correct, okay? So let's go over this topic. This is something that we already studied, but I want you guys to know just a little bit more, which is there is versus there are. As you can see, just to check something that we already studied, you know that there is used for singular nouns whenever we're talking about only one object, person, or thing. For example, there is a cookie. Yeah. So as you can see here, there is and only one cookie. The other one that we have in here, there are, is used for plural, which means more than one. It can be two, three, or more. Yeah, the things that we're talking about. For example, over here, there are three, more than one, there are three oranges. Okay, so now let's have a look at this conversation. I'm hungry. Are there any cookies? No, sorry. There aren't any cookies. There's a mango. What about oranges? Yes, there are some oranges. Okay, so in this case, Sam is having a conversation with his mom about the things that he wants to eat because, wow, he's hungry, right? So let's have a look again at this reading and let's select the correct picture that describes the quantity or the food that is mentioned in the reading, okay? So 3, 2, 1. If you selected option B, well, let me tell you that that is correct, okay? Okay, cool. So now, let's go over here with a little more about there is and there are. But in this case, we're going to check the different cases for singular nouns and plural nouns. Over here, we know that all of the affirmative sentences is always talking about the things that that exist, that there are. Yeah, for example, there is a mango and there are three mangoes. Okay, so we can see here that here they're using singular with there is, and then a plural there are. Also, you know that there is whenever we the next we're talking about something that starts with a vowel, we need to use an, right? And in this case, to talk about plural nouns, in this case for affirmative, there are some oranges. In here we are describing a quantity of oranges. Now the other two cases that we have is for a negative sentences. For example, there isn't a cookie. In this case with a singular noun and a negative, there is not, you know, if you want to use it too. And also with plural nouns, there aren't or there are not any cookies. As you can see here, cookies is in plural. That is why we use any, okay? Now for a question, you know that we make an inversion. That means that the is and the are at the beginning. So for example, is there a cookie? Again, talking about only one cookie. And are there any cookies? Now we're using cookies as a plural, okay? For the final part, whenever we ask this question, a person can answer something like yes, there is, or no, there isn't. And in the case of plural nouns, we've got yes, there are, and no, there aren't. Now to practice this, let's have just a little exercise. So over here, all you need to do is to select the correct answers between A, B, or C. Okay? So again, if you need to pause the video in this moment and start working on this, it will be a very good idea because I'm going to show the answers in a few moments. Okay? So let's go. Spoiler alert, the answers are incoming. So over here, as we can see, we already have number one. Are there any good movies on TV? Okay, we've got a plural and a question. The second one, there isn't a pool near my house. We're talking about only one thing. So that is why we select the only one that talks about a singular noun. Number three, there are some amazing food festivals in Italy, right? Because over here we're talking about a plural noun, and also we are saying something. We are talking about an affirmative sentence. Number 4, are there any young people at the party? So over here we have a question and we have a noun, people, that is plural. That is why we always use are. Number 5, there are 2 parties on Sunday. Okay, so again, parties is in plural, so we need to select the option that refers to a plural noun. Number 6, there aren't any nuts in this cake. Okay, so over here we can see any, that is used for a negative sentences whenever we have a plural noun, as you can see here in this chart. Okay, so there aren't any nuts in this cake. And the final one, number 7, is there an egg on the table? Okay, so remember that we need to use an because egg starts with a vowel, and we're talking about only one egg. Okay, okay, so good. How was it, guys? How many answers did you get right? Okay, so just to finish, some summary, some of the most important ideas. So we've got that there is versus there are, that topic, but now we have it with these 3 expressions, a or an, some, and any. So let's talk about the first case, the case of a or an. So when do I use it? When I'm talking about only one thing, one object, or one person. It doesn't matter if it is a question, a negative sentence, or an affirmative sentence. For example, the first one, the affirmative sentence is, there is a cookie in my bag. The question would be, is there an egg in the kitchen? And the final case, which is a negative sentence, there isn't a dog in my house. Okay? Now let's talk about some. In this case, when do I use it? When I'm talking about affirmative sentences and I am mentioning a considerable quantity. Yeah, that means that it's used for plural nouns, and we are talking about something that we consider is just like a group. Okay, there are some burgers. Okay, over here we're not saying exactly the number of the burgers, but we're saying that is a considerable quantity. Okay, the final case is for any, and in this case, remember that we have 2 separate cases. The first one is the questions. Whenever we have questions with plural nouns, for example, are there any strawberries? As you can see, strawberries is in plural, so when we always use are, right? In the case there are, but in a question form. Are there any strawberries? And the other case for any is in negative, with also plural nouns. For example, there aren't any strawberries. Again, as you can see here, strawberries is in plural. Okay, so that will be it, kids. I hope you guys like it. And remember that you can work on the exercises from the Metro Online platform. You know that these are good and these are going to help you a lot to understand the topic. Even if you want to check this video as many times as you need, that would be a great idea. Okay, so that's it for today, kids. I hope you guys had a great time, and I'm just going to say bye for now. Okay, bye.